One of the Jonas Brothers asks, why harmonics? Yeah, good question, thank you. Joe? So earlier I found the exact frequency I need to shake this rope in order to get a standing wave. Let's do that again real quick. 1, 2, 3, and... Right, so this is the fundamental resonating frequency of the rope. But what I didn't tell you then was that there are other resonating frequencies too. Like, what if I don't wait for my first wave to reach the knot? What if I start shaking it twice as fast? Like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and...
This is getting out of hand.
Now there are 2 independently vibrating sections of the rope. Right now I'm spinning it like a jump rope because once you get to harmonics, it takes a lot of energy to keep them going. But still, you can see that there is a node in the exact midpoint of the rope, where there used to be an antinode, the spot with the most motion. Now there's no motion at all. This right here is the second harmonic. Harmonics are a series of resonating frequencies for any given medium, and each harmonic is some integer multiple of the fundamental. Basically what that means is you take the frequency of the fundamental and you multiply it by some integer, 2, 3, 4, and that is one of the harmonics. I can keep going with this too. So let's say I start shaking 3 times as fast. 1, 2, da 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 da. Oh, so close. Oh, come on. Come on. Yes. Yes, okay. This is about as fast as I can go. But theoretically, anything that can make pitch has an infinite number of harmonics. It's just physically almost impossible to make some of the higher ones.
For the fundamental, we charted out how each wave interferes with the ones before it to make standing waves. It's the same principle with harmonics, except I'm going to add a new wave twice as often. So instead of a new wave just when the first one reflects, I'm also adding a new wave at the halfway mark. The doubling up always happens at the 1/4 and 3/4 marks instead of at the halfway mark like it was with the fundamental. Speaking of which, now waves always cancel out at that halfway mark. So, just like before, all the waves interact in such a way that makes standing waves. Only this time it makes 2 parts, and each one is vibrating at twice the frequency of the fundamental. And I can do the same thing for the third harmonic. Now let's go back to that mathematical sine wave, the shape that goes on forever. The fundamental looks like half of one wavelength, and the second harmonic is actually one full wavelength, up and then down and back to a node. Likewise, the third harmonic is 1.5. Each new harmonic squeezes in another half of a wavelength to fit into that medium. So that was harmonics in a medium with nodes at the end. But what about this? This tub's standing waves always have antinodes at the end. Here's the fundamental again. 2, 4. Yeah, there we go. And I can do the same thing. I can start shaking twice as fast. And then 3 times as fast. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, God. It's a mess. Once it starts spilling, that's how you know that they're resonating. Okay. So, even though the way waves reflect is different, there are still harmonics and there's still integer multiples of the fundamental. Let's do the same process we did to the rope, but of course here, waves don't invert when they reflect. And we're going to see a similar pattern to the second harmonic of the rope, but this time it's kind of the opposite. Waves always cancel out at the 1/4 and 3/4 mark, and they also always double up at the ends and also at the halfway point. The pattern keeps going with the third harmonic, but for some reason, the tub's third harmonic is just a problem. I just struggled getting it standing wave. I couldn't keep all the waves straight in my head. I spent a long time draining a lot of battery before I could finally get the shape of the wave right. And then, of course, as soon as I got it right and I was about to move on, the camera battery died. This is a picture of what I was trying to draw. Well, it may look different, but this is the same pattern. The fundamental is half a wavelength, the second harmonic is a full wavelength, and the third harmonic is 1.5 wavelengths, and so on and so forth. The only difference here is that instead of starting and ending at 0, at a node, these wavelengths start and end at antinodes. But it's still the same principle. Whether there's soft boundaries or hard boundaries, harmonics work the same way. If you know the fundamental resonating frequency of anything, let's just say of an instrument, then what the harmonic series gives you is every other resonating frequency, every single pitch that could fit into that medium. We've been doing harmonics really slowly. The tub and the rope aren't really fast enough to be viable instruments. So let's speed up the process. Let's say that we have a medium with a fundamental of 100 hertz. This is a sine wave. It's a simple tone playing at 100 hertz. What is harmonics? Harmonics is integer multiples of the fundamental. So multiples means we multiply it by some integer like 2. 100 times 2 gives us 200 hertz. That's the second harmonic. The third harmonic is 300, 4, 5. This is the sixth harmonic, 7, and 800 hertz. Let's stop there. That's enough to work with. These are the pitch relationships that are baked into physics from the very beginning. You can't play a pitch without running into this, without running into the harmonic series. And already there's kind of a pattern that we can start to see. Let's compare 100 to 200 hertz. I would say that they don't really sound like different notes. They're at a different register, sure, but the character, the fundamental color of the pitch hasn't changed. Let's take 200 and double that. Again, it sounds like the same note, just at a different register. And 800, being a doubling of 400, same character, same color. So, okay, you take the fundamental and you multiply it by some power of 2, and it gives you kind of the same note, just at a different register. But it goes even further than that. Let's say we take 300 and we double that. We double 300, get 600 hertz, the sixth harmonic. Again, they kind of sound like the same color of note, just at a different register. So we've only just dipped our toes into the harmonic series, just done a bit of analysis, and already there's a pattern emerging. Multiplying the fundamental, or any note, by some power of 2 always gives you the same note, the same character of note, just at a different register. Now we know what a sine wave sounds like at an audible frequency. Each of those notes that we just heard was a simple tone. That's what you call a sine wave if you play it out loud over a speaker. You call it a simple tone. But if you've heard music, ever in your life, you'll know that real instruments are a lot more complex. I tune this string to 33 hertz, hertz being oscillations per second. And I tune that string to 99 hertz. And we heard a lot of sine waves at a lot of frequencies, and none of them sounded anything like this. There's got to be something else going on here. Did you hear that? This string is resonating. I muted all the other strings, and I didn't play this string, but it's resonating. Just like a couple episodes ago, when I sang into a string at its resonant frequency. But just then, I wasn't singing or playing 99 hertz. So, what was it resonating with? Here's the secret. Real instruments are so complex because when you play them, you don't just play the fundamental. They actually carry multiple harmonic frequencies at the same time whenever they get played. This string was 99 hertz. That's 3 times the frequency of the lower string of 33 hertz. So it was resonating with the lower string's third harmonic. These complex tones that we hear from any real instrument is actually just a combination of a bunch of harmonics. And each of those harmonics is a simple tone. And if you put it together, it becomes this complex tone of a real instrument. Now, how does this work? How does a string move in such a way that it makes multiple frequencies at the same time? I kind of have no idea. There's a lot of answers out there, but some of them contradict each other. Some of them aren't detailed enough. I kind of am a little bit lost, but one day I'll figure it out. And on that day, we'll have a video answering the question, how harmonics?
So, why harmonics? because anything with two boundaries can actually resonate at multiple frequencies, each one being some integer multiple of the first. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Smash that like, subscribe. But also, if you have any questions about music theory, about acoustics, about the future of the channel, anything really, leave a comment. I want to collect all your questions and try to answer them in future videos.